I closed it. If I reopen the same tab, then I don't think it's still containing. Reopen close tab. No. It forgot. ChatGPT forgot our conversation. Or, well, it's gone anyway. I just asked ChatGPT a question about well, ideas for debugging my programming. It wasn't even that bad. So let's use the answer of ChatGPT to guide our debugging. And yes, I should have been in bed already, but I don't want to code. So horrible. I did paste it on Discord though, so following ChatGPT suggestions. Well, vaguely anyway. I want to concentrate on how were my buffers are being created, what the handles are to start with. I'm going to, let me go to bookmarks, CWD, and I need a marker. I think Larry could do that. Memory allocation, doing the mismatches. Yeah, maybe this. Nope. Really? Yeah, maybe it's part of CWDS. Let's go there, look there. Would make more sense, I suppose. There's a listing here of stuff or not? Probably not. Yeah. Scopes with a marker. I could use that. Just mark. Mark GAR, mark UTF-8 even. No, yeah, that's what I was looking for, I suppose. Now what is a namespace? Namespace debug start. Debug, namespace debug, namespace debug, I guess. Let's try that. Namespace debug, mark. Marker, passing. Let's be boring and just pass and create vertex buffers. It has to be an UTF-8 string. So that works like U8. I forgot, but I think that works. So now at least about all the debug output that is occurring as a while inside this function would be prefixed with that, but I don't think it helps very much, because I also want to see the debug output of this, of these tasks, and I think I'm losing my marker when I start a new task. I'm pretty sure of it. Let's try this anyway. So there we have it, the prefix. Still some debug output. Thread pool 5. It would work. Apparently it is working. Running. No, it's not. But I could suspect that it is printing that thing. Let me Control F. Yeah. Oops. Okay, so entering create buffers. Oh, no, well, we have two of them at the same time. How parallel can you do it? Thread 2 and 5 both call create vertex bars at exactly the same time. How confusing. One of them it's kind of strange that it didn't print it. Create expected. We're calling here AI central task create task copy data to buffer. That should be followed by created task or return task pointer or something like that. Oh, here, yeah. It's just the second line. Already saw it here. Okay, yeah, this is the constructor. So that is thread pool 2 is creating this copy data to buffer. And thread pool 5 is doing that too, I guess. Thread pool 5 hardly runs. What Crow Frims is back. Hello. Okay, here we have the handle of one of the buffers. Thread pool 5. I'm gonna paste everything I found on Discord, otherwise I forget it. So I have thread pool. Just paste everything. Thread pool 2 is this task at the moment. Thread pool 5 is this task. What? No, it's not. It's exactly the same thing. Oh, it is the window pointer. Let's just call it. Okay. Threadpool 2 create this buffer then, at least. Threadpool 2 creates that buffer pointer with the name vertex buffers 0. And then threadpool 5 creates a different buffer. I really believe that maybe I should show you what I asked ChatGTP. I mean, it's not super interesting what he answered. More like funny and not too bad. These days are different, okay. But my question is maybe interesting to see, because then you know what I'm doing. I was asking this. I'm writing a program using Vulkan API. It is uploading a vertex buffer with instance rate, which means that every time you switch to a different instance, as opposed to just a different vertex, then you go to the next the next entry in the table that you are uploading in the buffer, and this time existing of just two vec4s. So the first vec4 is using for the first instance, and the second vec4 is used for the second instance. Okay, which the vertex shader is using for positioning. Obviously, I do not have I want to have the two positions of the position of the two instances is different. The first instance is the top, and the second instance is the bottom texture. This works fine when only doing this for a single pipeline. However, when I create two pipelines at the same time, and I upload two buffers with the same data, one for each pipeline, it turns out that the data in this buffer is corrupted. Moreover, it looks like the values in the buffers that each pipeline sees are the same. Yeah, I wrote that wrong. Both pipelines show the same type of deviation. And for example, the bottom texture is either shown at the bottom of the window or in the middle. And left and right is always the same. It does shift to the left when it gets smaller. The 2-2 is both shifted to the left and becomes smaller. But they're always both smaller. And the reason they shift to the left is because of that scaling. So it's really still the same. So I think they use the same buffer. So moreover, it looks like the values in buffer, the each pipeline sees are the same. Yeah, but type of deviation, from which I would conclude they shared the buffer. And the idea is what I can do to debug this, what can I try and investigate to find out what is going wrong. And then ChatGTP says, well, let me scroll down. Yeah, well, verify what you write to the buffer, and that the buffer is created correctly, and that it is bound correctly, and that everything is done correctly. Check that everything is done correctly. Yeah, okay. Well, it made more or less a listing anyway. So keywords here are binding the buffer to the descriptor set is one thing, and then it said make sure that the correct offset and range are being used when updating the buffer. But I think the whole problem is just you know the overlap, just using the same buffer by two different threads or two different pipelines. That's where I have to look at, not if the offset is correct or not. So I can skip that suggestion. And that point is also not interesting. And it says check if you're using the same buffer handle for both pipelines. Well, I kind of told it that I was, but yeah, I could at least indeed literally look at that. So I want to know which handles I'm creating, which buffer handles I'm creating, and then I want to see where those are being used. There's one non-trivial thing, at least I do not immediately understand it. It says point 7, check if both pipelines are using the same descriptor set layout. If that is the case, you may need to create separate descriptor set layouts for each pipeline. Yeah. The non-trivial part is that I do not know if I cannot say that I know for sure that it's not the same. So I might have to look at that. Anyway, so which buffers are being created? Now here we have two buffers. But this one is not corrupted. This is a large size, and that is being used for the square that we put the texture on. And I don't see any corruption there. So maybe this handle isn't very interesting. There should be another buffer, I would think. But no, I don't know. I see here is a buffer. Here's another buffer. Definitely a different thread. There's another one. Triple 1 created buffer with allocation name staging buffer. Size is 64. Also a weird size. Maybe I should look at this first with just one pipeline, so I know that the output is what I should expect. This interleave debug output is so confusing to follow. And I don't even know where or when it goes wrong. So yeah, no, let's do first one pipeline. Also, we can look at what it should do. So with a single pipeline, this function is going to be called just once. And then we have a new buffer here, which we are going to create. I think this creates a new buffer. And then passing that to the copy data to buffer task, which is then being run. And therefore we have to look at what this thing is doing here. Also, maybe I should try to run it in immediate mode. It would be a lot easier to debug. Let's see, this is copy data to buffer. This has a lot of... So another buffer handle here, the target buffer. Well, it doesn't do that much, I think. It just implements this virtual function, record command buffer. The rest sits in the base class. And this record command buffer of copy data to buffer. That would be this one. We have a barrier, whatever that is, and then it calls a copy buffer, which I suppose is copying from staging buffer to the target buffer. So we still have to create a staging buffer. I'm not sure what that is. I think that is in the RAM. Nope. Or is it VK buffer? I don't know. Looks like a handle to me. Vulkan handle, yeah, to the underlying buffer or VK null handle, no buffers present. This is I would think it is just also GPU side, or maybe it's a memory that is accessible by both the GPU and the CPU. Wait, this is buffer. It's another one now. Staging buffer. The staging buffer is derived from buffer. M pointer, allocation info pointer. It even says something interesting. The window is not going to work. The thing is not called Linux Viewer for nothing. You left something on the build channel? On my Discord? I don't see anything. Oh wait, combining. Ah, I see it. Sorry, following event says following the instructions on GitHub, I got down to running CMake in the configuration section and ran into several errors. First was about find BLAS. I installed libopen BLAS dev and got beyond that. Now complaining about CMake error add opt kitash root kitash core up Todo cmake 166 message filter bootstrap auto tools project. Doesn't say anything else. Yeah, hi Post Bunny. Well, yeah, got a good do at D&D. I'm here every day. Plus I should go very soon anyway. It's late. Yeah, well, Ed Evans, you still there? First question is, you are on Linux, right? And the failed to bootstrap auto tools project, yeah. Is there really not more information then? Package.cmake. Do I have an exit code which is not equal to 2? And the exit code comes from execute process. So that is the result variable of running this thing. Do you have this output? So just before it printed fail to bootstrap, you have something like running bootstrap step 4, and then I guess Wolf SSL. But there's more information there. And it prints the package bootstrap command, which is trying to run here. That would be interesting to see. Basically, I want to see all the outputs. So the command that you type on the command line, and then everything that follows, all the way up till the error. then I know what you're doing. If I just see single, only the error is not enough. Yeah, you can paste quite a lot and then put it between triple backticks. So it gets, you know, it uses a mono space font. Okay, I'll probably have to go to bed soon, but I'll keep an eye on it. Now I know that you are working on this. Or when I catch you earlier, then I'll probably have to work on this, you know, while we are both online at the same time. No, I totally missed it. I did not get. Maybe you should. What is it? Tag me, and I get a red one saying that there is an information. So I didn't see that someone said anything there because I don't know why. Or maybe there was. I don't know. I just missed it. So. And yeah, the reason that WolfSSL fails to compile, yeah. I have no idea if I run it. The output that I get is bootstrap command is that. But okay, in my case it just prints WolfSSL is already installed. And it is installed here. I should be able to just delete everything, but I must say I'm kind of scared to do that. Well, maybe I should rename it and see what happens. So you are using maybe a different, you know, they updated it and it doesn't compile anymore. So you can try that. So I'm putting it away. Configure and see what happens. Let it downloading at 36 megabytes per second. Something that big. 44, 47. It's done. Well, seems to work on my end. Don't get an error. Well, I do. No, I don't. Warning. Several warnings, but yeah, that's their problem. It still seems to work. So you can see what the debug output should be at. I'm using this git tag, so it's really using the fixed point in the Git repository, so you will have the same source. and then well, the download step should succeed. So you get something like this. Update step, well, nothing to update, I don't know. There's no patch, configure, or build, or install, or test step, and then we are done. Running bootstrap step. It's printing a lot of the output here. So that if it ends with it failed, then maybe in front of it there is some information about what went wrong. And if not, then you'll have to download it yourself and do it manually. Try to configure it in the same way, and then we can look at it in more detail why Wolf SSL doesn't want to compile. Yeah, you cannot read this in, I guess. Yeah, you need to be on a PC, otherwise... wait, it was just a configuration. See a lot of weird stuff here. Configuring it. And then... Nobody understands this. Summary, configuration summary. Maybe just the configuration fails because it cannot find something here. All these things that it needs and looks for. If simply the configuration fails because you do not have installed enough, yeah, install it. No, this is compiling, I guess. I don't know. I don't like the look of all these warnings, but I think it still worked. No, and then it finished it with installing it, and then we have it. So the next time it's just installed. Right. Well, just relinking. Yeah, that was still the same and everything. So I'll just remove my away directory. Weg is Dutch for away. Yeah, well. Copy data to buffer. That's being run. It's derived from this, which is a task. No, it's an immediate submit. Derived from immediate submit. Initialize this as a multiplex though. Yeah, all I want to do is really just see how many buffers are being used. I think the immediate submit just bothers with the also multiplex. And the code is no longer easy to understand. There's the staging buffer. Okay, we are creating a staging buffer. Then the data feeder is writing into the staging buffer, so that's CPU accessible. And then we do a flush so that this is definitely visible on the GPU, I guess. And we set a command bar recording function. That's it. So this staging buffer is also a handle. It's a buffer. Yep, it's just a handle, a Vulkan handle with the memory allocation behind it and the size and its own logical device pointer. And this is just setting some default values which are good for staging buffers. Oh, we have a pointer here. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that a staging buffer is something that that you can write to from the CPU, but it is also visible on the GPU. Should be able to see that back in here somewhere in the flags. Staging buffer memory create info defaults. That's here. Host visible, I guess. So we transfer from CPU to GPU, and it is host visible. So it's probably memory on the GPU, but we can write to it from the CPU. And then one of these are duplicates, I think. I'm not using one, I forgot which, but the host visible is repeated here. Host access sequential write bit. Okay, so we write from it sequentially from the host. Good. Now when this is allocated, would be nice, printed it. Staging buffer is not printing anything. Yeah, debug output is not super verbose here. Not even here. Oh, here we are. Allocated buffer with memory requirements. That should be visible. Our buffer is not created, it's allocated. And then while executing copy data to GPU write, we are running our two vec4s to the buffer, and then we make sure that it arrives. And then we call the record command buffer, and that is copying it then from the staging buffer to the actual buffer. Although command buffer, yeah. I have a target buffer here, and I have the M staging buffer. Okay. So then it copies. We tell the GPU to copy it from one buffer to the other, and then it ends up in this one. Target buffer. Preparing to transfer from to there, and now we print both handles. Yeah. Let's set the number of pipelines to 1, and then run this. See if I can understand it now. less R troop. It's a doesn't work. Create vertex buffers. At least now we have colors, otherwise it's totally unreadable. Okay, so we enter it, create a buffer. Create a buffer. So this is then probably the target buffer, which is created first. And let me paste that in general here. This is no longer correct. Thread pool 2 creates now that thing. And that is the debug name. Created object with handle 2D, yes. Entering get buffer memory requirements, allocated buffer, yes. Still 2D with memory requirements. Oh, that's the one for the vertex rate thing, the square. Copy data to buffer. Copy to debut. I'm guessing this is the one then. This has a size of 64, which I still think is a bit weird, but okay. At least not 3000 something. So we did vertex rate first, and now it's going to do the instance rate with a size of 64. Why? But okay. And then that one has this handle. Again, we can erase everything. That is the handle, and the debug name is that. The vertex buffers is the target. Yeah. Yep. Entering get buffer memory requirements, and now we see that the size is 64. Well, that was already requested. So sort here as well. And then we have, yeah, it's put in a super big device memory thing at a huge offset somewhere, but the size is just 64. And the debug name is still the same. Entering stateful task, create task, make another copy data to buffer task. Now we're talking about 32. Task pointer is this. Let's highlight that one. running it. Let's see, reset reset multiplex initial run, add to thread pool. Yeah. Characteristic range initialized, signal 4. Okay, thread pool picks it up here. What the heck is that, Mark post? You sound like ChatGTP. Initial launch, start. Create a new buffer. There we are. Though this must be. Oh, this is the staging buffer. Yeah. So now we are in thread pool 5, which is totally not giving a lot of information. Would be better to replace this with the name of the task that is running, because yeah, that number is random. And yeah, anyway, now that is the name, staging buffer. Now we're going to write and we have here set state, copy flush mapped allocation. Nobody gets that. Found 2 queue replies that support e-transfer and 1 queue request that requested them. I'm trying to figure out something. Oh, acquire queue. Missed this one. Entering signal, need action, task is not waiting, signal queued for puzzle subsequent, set state, copy done, wait 1, submit finished, don't need to run removing from thread. So who is going to run next then? This one, I guess. Need action. And entering wait, but we don't wait then. So this is thread pool 7 now, running immediate submit queue need action. Yeah, that's just going to run the command buffer while submitting the command buffer to the GPU queue. And then copy it to our end buffer with handle Todo descriptors 30. I'm more interested in what happens after that with that handle. So I'm going to paste the handle that we end up in. It ends up in this handle here. If I scroll up, it should highlight something. Yeah, no, there, here. That buffer. And then I go down until I see that buffer being used. Here. Yeah, preparing to transfer 33 to 30. That's correct. That's from the staging buffer to the target buffer. And then I hope somewhere I'll see it again. No. Doesn't seem like it's printed. Oh, it is. Yeah, destroy buffer. Not useful. So I did not print it when it was bound or anything. How annoying is that? Size is 32. I can find it that way at least. Preparing to transfer and then size 32. So then we have the both of the handles. But yeah, this handle, I don't see it back anywhere else. That's the last one, and then it gets destroyed. So much for verifying that the correct descriptor set is being bound to that buffer. How the hell does that work? Let me think. That is this buffer. And I think that this task is just destroyed afterwards. The only thing it does is copy stuff. It's not remembering it. So the only way we'll ever get back that buffer for usage elsewhere is by accessing this thing again. The thing being vertex buffers. And that was a vector. Ding, ding. Wrapper, yeah, the container type. It's a vector of a memory buffer. And our thing ended up in index number 1. Yes. So you can just grab the source code for the usage of that thing. And now maybe we can find back where it is being used. Not there, different test, declaration, comment, write lock. Yeah, this write locked because we are creating it. This is the code we just looked at. And then we have the debug name. That's also the same code that we just looked at. So this is the only place where we have any hope for ever getting back our vertex buffer, which is in the render loop in the function draw frame of the window. We have only one window, therefore we have only one draw frame. No matter the number of pipelines. Yeah, okay. I think I already see it. I see the problem. So here we're just read locking that thing and then we access it here and we use 0 and 1. And that's it. That is the buffer that we create for pipeline number 0. So the one that is created for pipeline number 1 is just simply never used. But it's still overriding stuff, interfering with it. It does make sense, however, that I only upload it once, and therefore I access 0 and 1 here, and not something that depends on the pipeline. That is ridiculous. I like this code. But on the other hand, it is not that easy, is it? But this is how it works, I guess. Bind vertex buffers to this and that thing. That's all the offsets. This is the first one, so you just get this is then the first vertex buffer, and that's the second one, as then known to the vertex shader. Okay, slightly, we got slightly closer to the answer, I guess. I want to see now the same debug output for 2 pipelines. Wait, isn't this printed? Is this not printed? Bind vertex buffers. Oh, bind vertex buffers is Vulkan API, that doesn't print anything. It does not print anything. Yeah, nor do I want to print anything here because it's floating then, since it is in the render loop. I'm distracted by the chat again. I think I'm going to consider output of ChatGTP spam, Mark. It's not super interesting what the chatbot has to say. Feels kind of like nonsensical often. Especially your last three paragraphs are complete nonsense. So it's not interesting. I should go to bed. I hate it, but it's true. And then I don't fall asleep because every night I'm thinking about the college conjecture. At least, I mean, I want to have to do something, so I'm trying to calculate the result of yeah, I'm just calculating, and yeah, for some reason I don't understand why, but I'm not falling asleep. I've been calculating stuff like 5 times 4 plus 1 is 21 times 4 plus 1 is 85, and then from 85 times 4 still, I think minus 1 divided by 3 is 113. And I'm pretty sure that I had 85 times 64 plus 21 is 5,461. And I still didn't fall asleep. I don't understand. And I memorized it. I didn't calculate it from my head. Let me check if I at least I'm right. The last one that I said, 85 times 4 minus 1, is that divided by 3? No, that's 113. So there was another one. Pretty sure it was the... No, it's not that. Oh, that was correct. 113, I said. No. Plus 21, not simply. 64 times 85 plus 21. Yeah, that's 5,461. And then I wanted to calculate the next one. So 5,461 times 64 plus 21, which, by the way, is 349,525. But I couldn't do it from my head. Disappointing. So then you think, well, then you fell asleep. No, that I turned on the light and took a piece of paper. Yeah. And then I'm complaining that I'm not falling asleep. It's horrible. And also the reason that I thought I might as well be coding at 12 midnight because I don't fall asleep anyway. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop for today for this. The problem is I have to remember this because otherwise I did everything for nothing. Yeah, Ed. Okay, and I see you pasting all the stuff. Or if it is so much that you get tired of pasting it on Discord because you have to do it in blocks. So limited message size. You can of course paste it on a paste site and then paste the URL on Discord. That's absolutely perfect. I'll just click the URL and look at that. It's probably a better idea when it's too much. But to summarize what I figured out today, so I can remember it and then stuff. Yeah, this line here. Let me paste that too on Discord. Discord is my memory from now on. Well, that's kind of interesting. And then I had this grep here. And I had another grep which was no, this is actually enough probably. Although of course we still want to see then the double output. Go to bed. Put your phone on the loader. Tomorrow I go to my parents again. And I would be bored to death without my phone. No, I didn't say that. I take my phone. It's a half an hour walk, so then I would like to have my phone. And what else? TT. Yep. So see, just use a different thing, but it's not using one of these. But it still interferes with the data of the other one. So that I did not figure that out. Why? I mean, you would think that it's just uploading a buffer that's not being used. That's super strange. Basically, we didn't figure out anything, if you ask me. It's an ongoing adventure. ASMR. I have to ask ChatGPT what that means. See if it is alive. What means ASMR? Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. Okay. Yeah, good night, Aydin. I hope you also will fall asleep, but without me talking, because I'm going to go